Hi, dear Toastmasters, guests, and friends. Welcome to Toastmasters, the world's biggest platform to hone your leadership skills and communication skills. Toastmasters, where leaders are made. Not just leaders, confident leaders. Not just speakers, confident speakers. On our talk show, we have one confident leader and a speaker, a Toastmaster who is also a host of a podcast called Talking Toastmasters, a proud member of Network Voice Toastmasters Club, a Toastmaster who's been a member from 2016. Without any further ado, let me welcome my good friend Toastmaster Angela on our talk show. Toastmaster Angela, how are you doing?
And well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on our talk show. Toastmaster Angela, I ask all my guests this one question. Your Toastmasters journey. Where did it start? How did it start? Would you like to share something about that?
Okay. My Toastmasters journey is a little different because I was in Toast. So I first joined Toastmasters in 2011. My good friend Emily invited me, and I was in the club for about 5 months. And then life happened, and I just dropped out. And I was like, I will be back. I held my promise. I came back, and I rejoined in February of 2016. So I took a little hiatus, about 4 or 5 years, if I can do math in my head. Math is supposed to be my strong suit. And I kind of dove right in. I showed up, and Stefano and Jennifer were there, and they remembered me. And Stefano was like, "So why'd you come back? And what didn't work the first time?" And I was like, "I never gave a speech the first time. I filled almost every role, but I didn't give a speech." So he said, "Do you want a mentor to help you with that?" And I said, "Please." And the rest is history because he mentored me. I happened to lose my job at the same time. I didn't join because I knew I was losing it, but I just dove right in, gave speeches, filled roles, and I earned my triple crown the following Toastmasters year 16, 17, which back then was completing one each of a level in comparison to today. So I've been on a journey from 16 to 23, 22, sorry, 2016 to 22, those 5 Toastmasters years. I was in leadership, both club leadership and district leadership.
Amazing.
And I met so many Toastmasters. It's been an amazing journey. I earned a triple crown. I earned my Distinguished Toastmaster Award, my DTM, in April of 2020. And I earned my Pathfinder Award in May of 2022.
Amazing journey, Toastmaster Angela. Congratulations on DTM and a Pathfinder Award. That is unbelievable Toastmasters career.
Thank you.
Now, for many people, achieving the distinguished Toastmaster is what they aim for. And you started off Toastmasters with certain goals. But what keeps you at Toastmasters? 2016, there may have been a reason. Even 2023, what keeps you coming to Network by Toastmasters, practicing your craft every week? What's the reason?
There's a couple reasons. So my reason for rejoining back in 2016 was because back then I was doing property and casualty insurance, in which I'm licensed. And I did most of my communications via computer, so it's easy to type what I wanted to say. But when I was on the phone, I wasn't confident. So the great thing is I was able to transfer my skills immediately when I got my real estate salesperson's license and started doing commercial real estate with my dad. Got my license in August of 18, went full time with him in early 2019, and I haven't looked back. Fall 23, 22, I get my years mixed up. So summer 2022, I spent studying for my real estate broker's license, and I earned that in the fall of 2022. So I took time off from giving speeches, from doing a lot of things other than a couple of roles in the club, and really dedicated myself to that. So one of the reasons I stay is because it's helping me professionally. Another reason I stay is the friendship. I've been with Network Voice off and on since the beginning. I left like once, I think, or twice to go to another club, but I came back and I told them I'm never leaving again. So I'll become a dual member if I ever join another club. And then I love mentoring and helping people grow.
Hmm.
I just enjoy helping people. So anything I can do just by being a member of the audience, having a role at the meeting, giving feedback, because our club everyone's welcome to give feedback to each speaker. And I love that about our club because I get more than one evaluation. I get 6 to 10, depending upon who decides to give an evaluation and give feedback. So there is a lot of reward intrinsically and externally as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Angela. And that is the power of Toastmasters, is the evaluations, is the friendship, the camaraderie that we build. Thank you for sharing that. Talk about talking with Toastmasters, Toastmaster Angela. That is your pet project and your podcast. Can you tell something about that to our audience?
Yes, I'm thrilled. 3 years ago, back in the summer of 2020, when I was discovering and figuring what I was going to do for my path, I decided I wanted to look at the electives and see what I might be able to do for work. I came up with 5 or 6 that looked cool to me, fun, interesting, something I could do like at my leisure. And after I rattled them off to my dad, with whom I work, he said, you know, your cousin godson, William, owns a podcasting company. I had no idea he owned the company. I knew he was a podcaster, but I had no idea he owned the company. I got on the phone immediately, had a conversation with him. He was coming home 2 weeks later. We'll talk about when I come home. That was my level 4 elective for motivational strategies. It was one of the first projects I did, probably the second or third project. And I love it. I have interviewed over 3 dozen Toastmasters and alumni, a couple of alumni. I go from brand new members to seasoned members over 20 years with 5 CCs, a couple of DTMs. Right now I'm focused on the US, and I just recently expanded to Canada in 2022. So right now I'm just focusing on the United States and Canada, and I hope in late 24 to open it up a little bit further to the world. But my goal is to just stick with Canada and the US for now. And it's always wonderful hearing about, I love meeting people. I'm a people person. I could talk all day long, but I love meeting people and hearing their stories. And I learn something new every single time I interview someone.
That's amazing, Toastmaster Angela. And congratulations on completing 2 years and 25 episodes. That's a lot of hard work. And thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And it's called Talking Toastmasters. And we come out the 3rd Tuesday of the month usually. So it's kind of been the routine for the last year and a half. So it seems to be working. We might switch it up in 24 and do it earlier in the month. I don't know, but it's available wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for letting me do that plug.
Amazing. Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Shifting gears, Toastmaster Angela, can you tell me the impact of Toastmasters on your personal life, professional life, social life, spiritual life? Any example that you'd like to share?
Where do I begin? It's an intrinsic part of who I am now. Like, I can't not be a Toastmaster, just like I can't not be a Rotarian. You guys pretty much have me for life, so good luck getting rid of me, type of thing. I've got friends in Toastmasters whom I've become friends with through Toastmasters, a couple of people who joined who know me. I got a colleague out of it. Jason Harris is in Spirited Speakers in Middleborough. I became his mentor, and right off the bat, we had a lot in common anyways, so it just worked really well. And so I got a teammate out of it, which is great. I think that's the biggest thing that I wasn't even expecting. I was hoping maybe I would get one deal out of the whole thing. One real estate deal, maybe an insurance an insurance client, but really, it's really more about friendship for me. And I joined it for help me, obviously professionally initially, but it's helped me in many other ways because communication is a vital aspect of life. And it's one of my, what do you call those, like pillars or core values? One of my core values.
Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Angela. And the relationship that you talked about, the camaraderie, that is really wonderful at Toastmasters. And thank you for sharing the impact of Toastmasters on your professional life. It is pretty amazing. Toastmaster Angela, for the guests watching our talk show, what would you say 1 or 2 reasons for them to consider Toastmasters?
A couple of reasons to consider Toastmasters is the low cost. $60 semi-annually plus your club dues, which is between $120 and $150 a year, and that is super reasonable. At $60 semi-annually, that's $10 a month. Kind of hard to beat, unless I did the math wrong. Kind of hard to beat.
Correct.
Even a book costs $20 usually. And it's a lot of application. And one thing you mentioned earlier that is unique to our organization is the evaluation and feedback method. Where else can you go but Toastmasters to get feedback on your speeches? I don't know. No one's really given me feedback without expressly asking for it. Another compelling reason would be the community. It really is a great group of people, professionals, not so professionals, doesn't really matter. I've learned about boating, wine, cooking. I don't even drink. So I was like, oh, I'm learning about wine. I don't drink, but that's okay. It's how you get to know people because some people talk about personal things they enjoy and some people talk professional and give the professional presentations. So it's a big mix and I really enjoy it because I never know what I'm going to learn, or I can just sit back and enjoy learning about someone's trip to the Azores or the Galapagos or just to Grand Canyon for all that matter. You just never know what you're going to learn. And it's always like I feel good. I walk away feeling good. It's like my 36 to 48 hours of euphoria.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Angela. Sometimes it is hard to verbalize that, and you verbalize it really well of the euphoria that you experience after attending a Toastmasters meeting. Dear audience, dear guests, please do consider Toastmasters and network-wide Toastmasters if you are wanting to be a mentored by Toastmaster Angela. That's a wonderful club. Toastmaster Angela, on our last segment of our talk show is the rapid fire round. Are you ready for some fun?
I'm ready.
Toastmaster Angela, a historic leader that inspires you a lot. Any leader that comes to your mind?
Abigail Adams.
Great
Don't
choice.
ask me to laugh. All I know is back then when women weren't as involved in things, she is the wife of John Adams, one of our first presidents, not the first, but I think it was the second. And she actually probably had more stage time, screen time, vocal time, whatever you want to call it, than probably any other woman in that time period. And even the 100 years after.
Great choice. Thank you for that, Toastmaster Angela. A historic speech that is close to your heart. Any speech that comes to your mind?
Well, I have a dream, Martin Luther King Jr., all about inclusivity, everybody being able to go after what they want. I love that. And that's one of the reasons I focus so much on women and helping to uplift women and minorities.
Amazing choice, Toastmaster Angela. A book recommendation that you like to recommend to our audience. Any book that comes to your mind?
Yes, my friend Emily introduced me to this book. It is called The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. And it's about kicking your consumer debt to the curb, which I did, and becoming debt-free. And it's awesome. I actually own it. I've read it 3 or 4 times in the 10 or 12 years since I was first introduced to it. Amazing book. In my opinion, life-changing for me to finally get rid of all that debt. And I've been consumer debt-free ever since. It took me just under 2 years. And I went through unemployment twice since then, and I still remained consumer debt-free. And I am kicking butt and having fun along the way.
Hats off. That's an amazing book, and hats off for being debt free. Did you do the debt scream?
No, maybe someday I will.
Pretty awesome. That's a good book. Thank you.
But you know what? Each time the debts came off, like it was a weight coming off my shoulders. I was like, 3 debts, 3 less bills, 3 debts, 3 debts gone, 3 less bills to pay.
Absolutely. That's an amazing book. Life changing, as you rightly put.
I had more
Toastmaster,
than 3 debts, by the way, just so you all know. It was about 10.
great work. Great work.
Thank
Really
you.
good. A food recommendation, something which is very close to your palate. Any food that you'd like to recommend to our audience?
I have been known as the pasta queen in my family, probably since I was a teenager. I love my pasta. I love hot pot as well, where you can cook your own at your table, which most of my friends are like, why would you want to cook for yourself? You live alone, you cook at home. And like, it's more fun because I'm out eating with friends and sitting here and they bring out the food. I don't have to do all the prep. I just cook it. So I love food. I'm a foodie. I run a group called the South Shore Dining Out Meetup Group, meetup.com/SSDOMG, South Shore Dining Out Meetup Group. I started that in 2006. Took it back over in the fall of 2021, and I've been flying ever since with it. I'm having fun going to
Amazing.
restaurants on the South Shore.
Thank you for sharing that. Now coming to a restaurant that you like to recommend for your pasta. Any restaurant that you always like to visit, have some good time with friends and family.
It's hard to say because most of the Italian restaurants I can't eat at because of my garlic intolerance. Garlic doesn't like me. My family's from a part of Italy called Abruzzi, and I guess they didn't really use garlic there.
Got you.
So we have a garlic intolerance on the Italian side of the family. So I don't go to too many Italian restaurants. The Chateau has a couple of locations, and Gennaro's in Quincy, I can actually eat their sauce and everything and be okay. But yeah, most of my favorite restaurants have since closed. Like Bugaboo Creek's gone. Strawberry Fair is still around in Noel. Great for breakfast and brunch. I could keep talking if you want me to about restaurants. So feel free to cut me off anytime. I'll just keep going.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's a good list for our audience. Toastmaster Angela, I think we've come to the end of our talk show. Is there anything else that you like to share with our audience which I've not yet asked?
One thing I want to mention, I probably should have mentioned earlier, in the how it's affected your life. Back in the fall of 2017, I became diagnosed with anxiety and depression because of a couple things that happened in life that summer. And I talked to one of the officers and I said, "Hey, I need to come to the meetings. So I need to have a role and you can't let me back out," because that was, remember the euphoria I mentioned earlier?
Correct.
That got me through. So we meet the first and third Wednesday night. That got me through Thursday and into Friday. And then I was pretty good. Like, so I had a couple good days. So that really helped me. And I don't have social anxiety. It was anxiety and depression because of tremendous loss and change in my life.
Correct.
But I will tell you, I've come through it. I'm on the other side. I still have low anxiety, but I still get anxious giving speeches, and I've given over 100. So it's not that I've never had anxiety in my life. It's just a different kind of anxiety. So I know a lot of people have stage fright. People might have to give presentations for work. They might want to move up in their job. Communication and leadership skills go hand in hand with moving up. I highly recommend it to anybody who just wants to become a better person or just be a little bit better in their job. You just never know. And communication and leadership skills are transferable wherever you go and whatever you do.
Thank you for being brave enough and sharing that, Toastmaster Angela. I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart. On that note, thank you, Toastmaster Angela. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you choose to come over and talk to us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing being on the other side of the microphone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Dear Toastmasters, if you've enjoyed our episode, please do like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to come and talk to us, please do mention your name in our comment section. Have a wonderful summer, and we'll talk to you on our next episode. Until then, bye bye.